class is still probably the biggest issue for the cultural sector. There's been a lot of success in other areas, actually, I think within the arts and the cultural sector, but in other ways it's still quite difficult. You do not meet many working class people in the arts and cultural sector. You really do not. Well, at senior levels, if you like, of the, or controlling levels of those kind of organisations. And I often think if I had no elocution lessons at school, would I actually ever have made it into the arts and culture? But I think overall, I think that's still the biggest barrier there is. I do worry about the huge numbers of people that seem to be coming through these courses, and whether, you know, there are going to be jobs for them coming up. The other thing I worry about a bit is that I often ask people saying, well, do you want to start your own thing? Like, because I guess I came up with a generation where people were starting things for the first time. And quite often people don't want to do that. They want to go and work at the ENO, or they want to go and work at a games manufacturer or something, or a games designer or something other. They have very strict ideas about where they want to go. So I think a bit, you know, people are going to have to start starting their own things up, I think, a bit more. When I started off, I'm so old, if you like, when I started off, there wasn't even anything called arts management. Nobody talked about it, really. So I just started putting on things I wanted to see, really. So it became like and hoping that the audience came along to it. So I put on types of music I liked, put on exhibitions I liked, put on kind of involved with festivals and so forth. So it's very much about kind of an extension of my own kind of enthusiasm about things, really. And not so much a kind of, I didn't really know I was getting into a career, if you like, at all. I've got in a bit of trouble recently for saying this, but I think there's a certain kind of sense of entitlement that the arts have, which is very, very much a turn-off to the public. In the sense we're not very humble in what we say, and we're actually kind of quite assertive about what our basically our rights are in relation to having funding and so forth. And that's even more extreme, I think, with some of the younger producers who've come onto the scene, is that they've come into this career structure and they assume they're going to get all of this kind of support and funding and interest and so forth. And I think that maybe isn't going to be the case forever in the future. So there's a lot of adjustment, I think, in terms of ambition for individuals and also for the industry as a whole.